Well, hey, good morning, all. Thanks for joining. This is Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast. We're every Monday through Friday around 8 Central. We'll talk games for about 30 minutes, latest news, what I've been playing. And it's been crazy because the news lately has been kind of like non-existent or even kind of um, I don't know, bad news? Not really bad. I mean, it's like I'm looking up news to talk about today because there hasn't been much. And the things I'm coming across are pretty interesting, like controversial gaming industry things. But yeah, maybe we'll talk about that here. Um, actually, yeah, usually I start when I'm talking about the games I played. I actually didn't play anything yesterday. I was doing a couple things. One, I was working on this model kit here. Kind of hard to see because of the light, but I've been doing the decals. These things, it looks like a decal's coming off on the back. I hate it when sometimes the decal just doesn't want to stay on. The thing with they're these Gundam like Verka model kits that have tons of decals, and I like to put them on, but it takes forever. I was actually hoping to have it done uh, today so I could do a review on it, but I might have to wait because I'm still working on it. And also at the same time, and working on part of the Batman costume. So I built these gauntlets that have Velcro that then just wrap around. Um, it turned out really cool. Way better than I thought. I mean, I wonder if I learned all this from the Gumpla building, really. And then because speaking of that, there's the Batman game. On VR, and it's like I could have been playing that, but instead I was making the costume. It would actually be fun to do a live stream VR playing playing the Batman game dressed up as Batman. I think that would be funny. Yeah, because the VR content does really well, especially the Gundam VR game Silver Phantom. I have a lot of that content. You know what? I could put some of that stuff here because there's some stuff I haven't uploaded, but that content on the Gundam Explained channel does really well, and it's really fun to make. So I might start trying to do more of that. And there's some really cool VR games coming out. We have the Alien. Oh man, maybe I should show that off. So there was a video that came out of the Alien VR, and it looks exactly like what Batman's doing. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Let me share the screen real quick. I just jumped into a random spot. So what it looks like is, I mean, it's full on moving around, looking around, doing the climbing. So that's what this Batman game is, and what this looks to be. It's truly the free roam VR that we get from like Half-Life Alyx. I think Half-Life Alyx kind of set that standard because VR games up until that point were just kind of like shooting galleries. But they've gotten to the point now where it's like full. There was that Battle Sisters Warhammer 40,000 that also was kind of a full 3D run around first person shooter. And this is doing it. Look, you could hold the motion sensor in one hand, a gun in the other, and you're just looking around. Look, there's a xenomorph up there you could shoot. Like, look how awesome that is. So that's this thing. That's the thing with VR now. It's like this is the perfect time where VR is really doing what it needs to do. Unfortunately, the Gundam game was a little behind on that. While that is fun, it's like a VR game that came out 5 years ago. The Batman Arkham, it's full move around, do whatever you want, grapple to ledges, real-time combat where you're fighting and blocking. This Alien one, first-person shooter running around. I think this comes out November or December. I know for sure beginning of November is then the Starship Troopers VR game, which again, that looks awesome. Let me see if there's any, see real quick, if they have any new gameplay. Because I did see some gameplay. It didn't look the best. Yeah, it's called Continuum. But it's kind of the same thing with No, yeah, there's not that much. It's not that much out there, yeah. So nothing. So there's a trailer for it, and maybe I'll just turn that on. Because the trailer just shows a lot of like cinematic stuff. Like it's not. It has Johnny Rico, which he's also in Extermination, which is out right now. And see, it's just showing like clips from the movie and like you holding it. Like this is. There's no way that's in game. You know, they're just showing that. So here we go. Here. So you get like 2 seconds, which this doesn't look bad. You know, it's just the graphics aren't to the level of what we are seeing with Alien, and it could be because this is big open areas where Alien's condensed into kind of like a smaller area. And I think that it's better for rendering or like whatever. And it looks like there is a degree of artistic style on top of it, similar to there's a Jurassic Park VR game that's actually really cool like that. And the opening scene was really neat. You're in an airplane just going around doing whatever you want, like someone else is flying, and then it crashes. And then you wake up with it crash and you're trying to get out, and then like a T-Rex comes by, eats some dude, and you're just trying to survive. But it's full 3D movement. So yeah, VR's gotten to the point where it's coming out with the games that are like real like games, you know, and at the same time, it's almost like they're throwbacks, right? These games play like old school first person shooters or action games, but it's because you're in VR and have full control. It just adds another level to it, and that's interesting. I wonder if that's like the direction gaming needs to go. So if you think about, for the longest time, you know, the games were 2D. You know, I would even say, you know, yeah, when did Pitfall come out? The reason I say that is because I think Pitfall 82, that represented kind of a standard for most games going forward. It's like the action, adventure, exploration, platforming. And so I think games pretty much did that up through. Even like Super Nintendo, same types of things. Yeah, once 3D came around with PlayStation, then games started getting different. We started getting things, even on PC and PlayStation, where it's more of then, it's not like a static 2D plane, but you kind of have this 3D sort of space. So there's more of like exploration in it. Your eyes are looking around at more things, and there's more things to do or collect because there's more in the environment. And so I feel like that's where then gaming has sort of been this entire time. Now, I guess that next level is you go from 2D to 3D, then fully immersed 3D to where you're actually using your full body, looking behind you. Even if you were to play a game where you're sitting down and you don't need to physically turn, maybe you could use a controller to turn, the headset tracking allows sort of that one-to-one of exploring your environment, looking at where you're going to go and what you're going to do. So that, if we were going to talk about being the layers of gaming evolution in terms of immersion and how people are interacting, we're probably at that third layer right now, where it's one-to-one with the head and the eyes. Before, it was more of one-to-one with your hands as you're looking around exploring, and before that just being where it was the binary directional exploration. And then that makes you wonder, well, what's next, you know? And I think, you know, it's been what, since, for 3D games, what, 30 years? So I think it could take another 30 years potentially, maybe even more, before it's that next step. Or what is it? And it's probably something we don't even know yet. I mean, some suggestions could be the having the, like, plugged into your neurons, Neuralink or something, you know, where it's not just the one-to-one you're looking around, but the feeling of being in the environment is like you're more there than it does in VR right now. Because that's the other thing with VR, still, it's not perfect, so that you do get that motion sickness. Even, you know, playing for long stretches, you sometimes don't notice that there's sort of a discombobulation going on, but yeah, anyway, that's a little interesting aside, just because I haven't really been playing anything, and then, yeah, Batman costume led to Batman VR and all the VR games coming out. Okay, so let's move on to. We got bad news. And if I have time, maybe I'll jump into a demo. So we've got Mario Club Company. This is a Nintendo subsidiary. Is laying off 150 employees, 38% of its workforce. Now, here's the thing. It's doing the same thing that Bandai Namco just got heat for, and that's where they're just kind of putting people in eviction rooms. Because in Japan, you can't lay people off unless you take pay cuts. So instead of the CEOs taking pay cuts, they're just putting people in these rooms that have nothing to do until they just leave on their own. So it's very interesting how much this is just further proof of Nintendo sort of has this armor on them when it comes to criticizing their practices. That people usually be like, oh, well, Nintendo this, Nintendo that. But it's like, no, I don't think people realize Nintendo it's like Disney, right? They come out with a lot of friendly or family-friendly things, so they seem like, they're a good company, going to do good. But if you look behind the scenes, they're just as money-grubbing as any other corporation. And they will affect people's livelihoods if that's the case. Like with Disney and the whole Gina Carano thing, Disney's already losing that. They've had to reveal emails that are saying some horrible things. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, because these companies have so much money that they can bully others around. But you get someone that can come in, like luckily Elon Musk was willing to pay for people's lawsuits against Disney, and it's exposing Disney purposely does these bullying tactics. So Nintendo's the same. I know we all love Nintendo and Mario and all that, but they also bully people. Right now there's the lawsuit with Pal World devs going on. So again, that's like disappointing news. What was this other thing? Elden Ring Definitive Edition in development for Switch 2. Well, that's pretty interesting because I think an Elden Ring Definitive Edition is going to be created anyway. Just where it combines the DLC. Arrive by end of 2025, that makes sense since the DLC. And now it's interesting because someone's saying we finally started getting launch titles for Switch 2. Well, I don't think the Switch 2 is going to be end of 2025. We heard a rumor about November 5th getting an announcement potentially. I think it would be March, April, whatever. That's sort of Nintendo's cadence for releasing consoles. So, and again, like I was saying yesterday, that allows sort of those that, like the enthusiasts that want to get in on new technology to buy the Switch 2 ahead of the holiday season. So by the holiday season, there'll be more stock and bugs worked out by the time they release it for more people. All right, moving on. So Bungie's Marathon gets its first update in over a year, I'll bet with a few new details. And that's the thing. Less looking forward to Marathon just because of what's been going on at Sony and Bungie. Most of the people that were at Bungie, it's kind of different people. Like this is a guy, I think, that worked on Valorant, who worked at Riot Games. He's now at Bungie. That doesn't mean anything bad, but it's like you don't have that core team that was sort of responsible for a lot of the creative. I mean, we saw what Joe Staten tried to help with, Halo Infinite. He came back to help, but he was a cinematics guy. So, it's okay. Where the game is at right now, there's a variety of different things at different states inside of the game. Some things are a little more complete, like our environments are starting to come together in a really beautiful way. Some of the character models we've been iterating, though, they're coming together, but they're not fully there yet. Our enemy models are still kind of in early states, so we're still iterating through things to make those land in a strong way. So what's just interesting about, thinking about Marathon is that's an old 90s IP that was on Mac. And so Bungie owns that IP, but now Sony owns Bungie, so they have that IP. So the idea is, let's make a Marathon game. But who is really excited about a Marathon game? You could say you are if you like the original, but these games aren't being made like the original. This is an extraction shooter now. They're kind of going that whole live service. Let's see. Hey, Crad Mosh, good to see you. Who knows? Maybe Joe will work on Halo again. Well, he's since left, right? And then he went to Netflix, and then Netflix closed their gaming division. So, I don't know. I don't see that happening since he just helped and left. Just because it didn't really turn into anything. But thanks for the comment there. So the last thing I want to get into, and I don't want to touch on this too much. This is almost opening the eyes to more deeper into what's going on with a lot of sequels in games that aren't turning out to be that great, being made by different teams. Dragon Age, the Veilguard. There's this 40-minute breakdown of why it's a disappointment, and it is very eye-opening, especially for someone like me who doesn't really care about the Dragon Age games, although I've been following them because I just follow games in general. What's interesting is the main complaint is that there's no real lore world building going on. A lot of it's very personal stories, and as he was showing the dialogue, I was seeing it, and it's very interesting. For instance, there's in-game, as you're playing dialogue, where someone says, hey, you're wearing this armor, you look like this. And I'm like, sure, I wear a lot of stuff, you don't get to tell me who I am. Which is a very aggressive kind of they-them sort of approach, which is actually another part of this where I guess it's hard to see here, but there's a dialogue too where someone is like, now I am known as they, them, which the reason I bring that up and find that interesting is because this game is a fantasy game that takes place in a completely different time period. By interjecting ideals that have to do with social constructs of the modern time, we're almost taking people away from that fantasy and almost like trying to drive home ideals. But that's the thing. People have ideals that they believe in and they want to be able to portray in media, and so I get that. But I think the issue here is then injecting it into known IP that have established their world building and lore in different ways. What was the other part I was gonna get at? Yeah. So anyway, this review goes on forever where this guy's pretty much saying like he was given a preview. It's Mr. Matty Plays. I don't follow him too much, but I have been, pretty, what's the word? I don't know. I'll see some of his content and be like, oh, that's very well thought out. Because a lot of the games he's into are games that I don't necessarily play, but he has a lot of, again, this is a 40-minute take on it. He did a preview, he got flown out, he got to play it for like 5 or 6 hours, and he said it was really fun, but when he actually played the game, that 5 or 6 hours was really all the game was, and it never kind of culminated into anything bigger. So then, because of that, the game then... So I guess what happens is, again, what we've been going through lately with... There's these ideologies versus gameplay, where gameplay is taking a back seat in order to... And this game has been in development for so long, it was already on that trajectory before the point now where games that are now being greenlit and being developed, they're not going through the messaging. And it's interesting because, let's see, what was it? A recent game that came out that does I forget what it was called, but anyway, things are going to change, and that's what I was going to say. So there's like Kotaku, Paul Tassi. There's these that whole thing with I keep forgetting. Anyway, these people just have ideals that maybe they from down in their core they really believe in, and they have good intentions, but it's just at the end of the day, it's kind of changing. It's losing, what was originally made. Yeah, no, I heard about that with Matty, but I think he's going to be fine. I mean, I think he maybe over-apologized because it's really not his fault at all. I guess him over-apologizing, I think it's because he's coming at it as a professional because he is relying on an editor. So instead of blaming the editor, he's taking the blame. And I think that is, again, that's another example of this guy, Matty Plays, who I've just found recently, is very well spoken and very honest. That's why, again, I take this stuff seriously. But I think he's going to be fine. Yeah, and okay, so Cradmosh, you're bringing up exactly what I was trying to say, but I was having trouble saying it. is, and I guess it hasn't popped up for me to click on yet, but you're saying, interesting, I've been seeing 10/10s for this game, but also negative reviews, very polarizing. Exactly. Those that have ideals that are about identity, so identity politics, if a game portrays identity politics, then they are given a good review because those are ideals. Those are those things that they believe in. But for those that want a world-building, lore-based story, they're not getting that in this new Dragon Age, and that's where the bad reviews are coming from. And what I was saying with Mr. Matty Plays was saying that after the 5 or 6 hours, the gameplay never even, it just gets repetitive. So again, gameplay and world is taking backseat to social identity politics. But then again, some people like that. It's just, I feel like those need to be then separate games and not put into games that are already established. And again, EA recognizes this. They're already changing Xbox. Like, it's just where for the next year, we're probably going to see games released that are like this. You saw what happened to Concord. Sony even knew what was going to happen. He does an Xbox podcast on Last Day of Media. Yes, that I've seen that as well. He is very well spoken. It's just sometimes the people he speaks with aren't as eloquent or understand usually the depth he's trying to get into it, and so usually the conversations are more surface level. But I'm glad you brought that up. Good point. Okay. So this is what we're going to do next. I keep being told about a game that is really good. The demo is out. Hopefully the demo still works, because sometimes they take down the demos. This is for the Precinct. This is supposed to be a top-down shooter, really good graphics. 1983, year I was born. Police chase thing going on. Let me grab that real quick over here. Almost a throwback to like the original Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto games. Back when, when Grand Theft Auto first came out, it was PC only. I think the first 2 or 3 games were these top-down games. And it was amazing for the time, even though it wasn't like a, full 3D game. Although it kind of was, but yeah, let's jump into this. So, yeah, and I remember it was like in middle school. I think I was in middle school when the first Grand Theft Auto came out on PC. I remember playing it a whole ton. I had it's interesting because I did have a game controller. It was rare to have a video game controller on PC back then, but I had what was the Microsoft Sidewinder. My dad was really big into that stuff. So, if I would bring up, I need to find a game controller for the PC, because there's this basketball game I used to play called Full Court Press. Really good. Those old school basketball games are awesome. But it was a Microsoft Sidewinder controller, and that was one of the first. Then there was, I remember playing the GTA on there. It's just back then too. Like if the game didn't, most games did not have a thing for controllers. That just even into the 2000s. It's really only been the past, I think, 10 years. Okay, what's going on with this demo? You can see something. Oh, there we go. Man, that took a while. An F to start? And usually that's not what that means. All right, for this, we're just going to skip.
And they remain at large. Chandler, Sayers...
Okay. All right, so... This is... Okay, so first off, graphics are cool.
Want to go catch some bad guys?
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea. Cool, we can get right into the action, potentially.
Welcome to the ACPD, kid.
Yeah, so this looks great. And then what do I just get into? Car? Partner get into? That is really neat. Okay. Accelerate, brake, steer, handbrake, and exit vehicle.
I bet you learn all kinds of fancy driving at the academy, but for now, let's just take it slow and steady. Don't want to scratch the paint job on your first day. Swing by the hot dog stand in Chinatown. There's a parking bay there.
Oh, I like the controls on this. Oh, I did go the wrong way. Hold on, let me do something. Ooh, that felt so good, and I pulled it off exactly how I needed to. So this game, the controls and graphics. Oh, oh. Okay, so that's police brutality, right? Okay. Drive to the hot dog stand. Okay.
Good job, rookie. Time for some chow. Tube steak.
I wonder if in the discussions.
Central to all units, bank robbery in progress.
Oh.
Mercer ACB Bank on Mercer Street, shots fired.
Christ on a crutch. Another beautiful moment ruined. Oh well, that's what they're paying us for, right? Central, this is Unit 84, responding code 3.
10-484, be advised, suspects are heavily armed. Approach with caution.
Okay, kid. You wanted the real deal?
Oh. So this is going to be fun to try to not damage things as you go. Hey, why don't you help out? Wow, the perspective looks great because it's like you can see a lot, even though it's top down. All right, aim, shoot, reload, enter cover. Excellent. Excellent controls.
Now remember, they get...
Oh, I need to do one thing now that I'm, There we go. I'm one of those guys. Okay.
One warning. If they don't throw them down, we take them down. Get ready. Police! Freeze! Drop your weapon! Police! Doesn't look like they're gonna give us a choice.
Okay.
Light them up! Don't just stand there, shoot back! Let's get some backup here!
I can... Oh, yes, I love it. It's been a while. Win back on N64, where it automatically aimed at the enemy, but if you pull up on the joystick or down, depending on your inversion, you can get a headshot.
Suspect down.
That was nice.
This is Bree Bookman in the ACTV Eye in the Sky, the #1 news chopper in Averno City. We're downtown where police are engaged.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
I guess I should have paid attention. Okay, call for backup when you need it. Support tokens are earned by performing competently. Staying close to suspect in pursuit. When you have earned enough tokens, request support. Okay. Because I am watching, I'm not looking at where coins? Oh, there we go. Oh, I see.
Affirmative, backup is inbound.
Where are the coins? Is that at the top? There's not really a coin, but okay. If a suspect vehicle is endangering lives, you are authorized to use use of force. Okay, that's cool. Whoa.
He's shooting! You're too far away!
Oh man, I probably could have used the handbrake there.
Suspect vehicle was last seen.
Bam. Okay, now, spike strip, I guess. Oh, I don't have. Okay, now, but I don't know if that really did anything. Okay.
Shots fired!
Yeah. Just shooting?
Take him down!
I mean, this is really cool if you can just run around and... Oh, okay. Did I give this guy an opportunity? Oh, okay. Oh, so you press X to do that. Okay.
Don't forget to make the caller.
Forget to make the caller.
84 to Central. We got a 10:15. Pursuit has been terminated.
Copy that, 84. All units stand down. I repeat, stand down.
Whew, you did good, kid. Not everyone handles a pursuit like that on their first day.
Okay, well, I have to get going, but this was awesome. For skipping cutscenes and just figuring it out on the fly, yeah, that is definitely a game to get. So is this out? Let's go check. I'm going to exit this. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh, cool. It was just asking. It wasn't telling me to review in the App Store. Okay. So let's look at this. Let's go to the store page. Cool. It's coming out sometime soon. I'm gonna just add it to my wish list. But awesome. Okay, guys, that's it for today's episode. But oh, I can remember that. But hey, Crad Mosh, thanks for being here and filling in with your 2 cents. And also, the Precinct looks awesome. It is awesome. It plays awesome. I definitely get that as soon as it comes out. Anyway, guys, all thanks for joining. Yeah, we'll talk later. See y'all.